He said it was just a random occurrence. Could have been any home, just my luck.
Tonight, this house could collapse at any moment after being struck by lightning during yesterday's storms.
Plus, how a new Florida law will impact people who need opioid medication regularly.
And a new affordable housing project is in the works. Where are the developers planning to build it? Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC7 News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Matter.
I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. We begin tonight with a deadly crash in northwest Bradenton.
Right now, we know at least 2 cars were involved in that accident on 9th Avenue Northwest at 75th Street. It happened just before 11 o'clock this morning. 1 person was killed and a child was flown to Bayfront Medical Center in St. Petersburg for treatment.
In other news tonight, one homeowner is picking up what's left of his home after strong thunderstorms rolled through the area yesterday. Around 6 o'clock, this home in Lakewood Ranch was hit by a bolt of lightning and then went up in flames. 5 ladder trucks put out the blaze quickly, but everything inside the home is now gone and covered in ash. The homeowner is not allowed to go inside because firefighters say the roof may collapse at any moment.
Never heard of this before. Asked the fire chief, he said it was just a random occurrence. Could have been any home. Just my luck.
McCabe also says that after going through this, he's thankful and knows how important insurance coverage is. He hopes everyone can use this as an example of why it's important, especially here in Florida. Suncoast beaches were packed for the 4th of July. Some of them left behind a mess. That's why 200 volunteers woke up bright and early today to clean them up. The 5th annual Liberty Litter Cleanup happening this morning at 9 Sarasota County beaches. Volunteers picking up as much trash and recyclables as possible. On average, about 2 tons of trash is collected every year.
Of course, the goal would be to have that reduced, although this year we've added 2 more beaches, so it'll be interesting to see, how that compares to past year's events.
Cleanup isn't only to keep the beaches beautiful, but also to protect the wildlife that calls those beaches home as well.
Huge important here on the Suncoast with those beaches because we do call them home here.
Yep. Well, we've had a few showers around, but the weather pattern kind of changing a little bit today. Here's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with more details. Bob?
Yes, it is changing indeed, as that low pressure area which brought us all the rain over the past couple of days has now shifted west, and we have the tropics to look at too. This is a newly formed tropical storm. It happened quick too, a lot quicker than the National Hurricane Center thought it would, but boy, a well-defined circulation and rotation, even developing a little eye. There's a lot of dry air around here on top of that, so it's a little amazing that this little storm was able to generate and become a tropical storm, and it's difficult to determine how strong the winds are. In fact, at 3 o'clock they issued the special advisory that it was Beryl now, and now they bumped those winds up from 40 to 50 miles an hour just in the last hour. So it looks like this system is going to get hit by a lot of shear. There's a lot of dry air out here too. We have African dust all throughout the Atlantic right now, and so it's pretty hard to believe that this one popped up. 50-mile-an-hour winds now. It's moving to the west at 16, and notice it only goes out to Sunday here on the cone of uncertainty. The winds have picked up too. They were projecting earlier at 4, or I should say 3, at 40-mile-an-hour winds here, but now they got them up to 70, nearing hurricane force strength, and then heading toward the islands. But then a tremendous amount of shear is expected to rip this thing apart before it enters the island. The islands are still going to get hit hard by heavy rainfall and very gusty winds, but we'll keep a watch on it. There's still a lot of uncertainty in this forecast. Even the National Hurricane Center has said that in their last advisory. Boy, some big storms firing up again, and look at this, a lot of lightning, dangerous lightning occurring with some of the cells. Most of the activity east of I-75, although just southwest of Northport getting some heavy rainfall. Lakewood Ranch, you had a little bit of rain earlier, Meadows as well. That has since pushed to the east, and that's going to be the trend, although this cell in particular has been drifting west, and 1 or 2 of these rogue cells will make their way toward the coast, or at least try to build there. Some heavy rainfall now expected into Bradenton, west of I-75, all the way down to State Road 70 there near Onico. Well, much more in our forecast coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
Bob, thank you. Back to try again. Harvey Vengroff has many affordable housing units around Sarasota and Manatee counties, and now he's back to revisit a project that he recently called quits on. Commissioner Hagan Brody was able to bring Harvey back to the table after Harvey decided to back out on this development in January. The plan for this 8 acres of land will house 500 people in 150 2-bedroom apartments with an average rent of $700. Harvey already owns the land and says he's ready to reconsider the development because Hagan Brody has agreed to work with him on decreasing the millions of dollars in building fees.
We're able to to keep the rents low because our overhead was lower than some of our competitors. But, you know, unless you let people build affordable housing and take away a lot of the restrictions for that, you're not going to have affordable housing.
Well, this is not a done deal just yet. Right now, the group is in the process of rezoning that lot. Then they will need to work with the city on an agreement to pay some, but not all, of the several $1 million in fees.
ABC7 business commentator Richard Stern joined us now, and we saw fireworks in the sky last night and then again today on Wall Street.
Exactly right, up almost 200 points at the high of the day. All the indices we follow all moved higher for the 4th time in the last 5 days. We're getting it together. Yeah, it's been kind of a rough road. You know, the Dow Jones Industrial Average for the year basically is unchanged, but now we're starting to get things going. Today, as I said, the Dow is up by 198 points at the high of the day. We closed very close to that number, and the Fed minutes, which were released at 2 o'clock this afternoon, were fairly benign, and Wall Street, frankly, didn't have much of a reaction at all. But let's take a look at some very attractive numbers for the day. Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 182 points, 0.75%, closing at 24,356.74. That on volume of 972 million shares. For the day, the NASDAQ, which has been leading the market, led it again, up by 1.1%, almost 84 points at 7,586.43. That on volume of 1,962 million shares. And the S&P joined the party. The S&P had a very good day as well. There you see up almost 0.9%, 23 points at 2,736.61. Well, it seems from time to time companies can't stay out of their own way. You remember Chipotle? Time after time. Well, now it appears to be Starbucks' turn. Remember, it was just 3 months ago when they had a very embarrassing incident in Philadelphia with 2 of their customers, and later, of course, went to lawsuit and then eventually into some training as to how to treat their customers. Well, apparently a few people didn't make it to the training class because now it comes out that a barista at Starbucks made fun of a customer who had a stutter. Not only did he make fun of it verbally, he made fun of it writing his name on the cup as well. Not exactly a good way. And by the way, in the last 3 months, shares of Starbucks are down by 17%. Some of that has to do with the chairman leaving, but an awful lot of it has to do with this very negative publicity.
Certainly. Wow. Okay, what about some news on Facebook tonight?
All-time record close, over $198 a share. They've had some negative news from time to time, but the stock closed at an all-time high.
All right, good to hear. Thank you so much, Richard.
You're very welcome.
Coming up, new details in the cave rescue in Thailand, why one idea to get the boys out is now no longer an option.
And Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with an update on the tropics, plus why doctors see more food-related illnesses during the summer months.
The ABC7 Stock Report is sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here, because
why you don't like my hair?
The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today I'm gonna show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch the Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dotoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398, or visit SoClean.com today.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Tonight, crews are pumping out water and building a stone dam to drain a flooded cave where a soccer team is still trapped after 13 days. Rescuers are delivering air tanks, wetsuits, and life jackets to the soccer team before the monsoon rains move in. Today, Thai Navy SEALs releasing these new pictures and videos showing crews making progress and just how much of the water has been drained so far. But as of now, there's still no clear path for getting the boys out. Officials say the boys have been practicing breathing with diving masks, but have not yet trained to do so in the water.
If you don't know how to swim and you're in a very black environment, which can potentially kill you inside a cave, it's not a good environment to learn in. Try and get them comfortable with the mask, comfortable breathing, create an environment where they can safely get away. That's feasible.
And now we've learned that the boys swimming out of that cave is no longer an option. Instead, crews will be drilling inside the cave to make the passageways wider and to keep the water levels down so they don't have to swim out.
A wild week of weather across the country, from extreme heat and raging wildfires in the west to severe storms and record rainfall in the Midwest and South. ABC's Natalie Brunell takes a look at the damage and the continued dangers.
Firefighters working around the clock battling dozens of fires across the west. The massive county fire in Northern California torching more than 125 square miles. 2,500 people still unable to return home.
This has been a beast. Nothing quite like this one ever.
In Colorado, the spring fire surpassing 100,000 acres burned, one of the largest in the state's history. More than 100 homes here going up in smoke.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
Sweltering heat, steep terrain, and parched wildland creating the perfect storm for these fires to grow. Rainfall would be a relief for these fire-torn areas. But in Houston, heavy downpours over the holiday were too much, too fast. More than 150 cars flooded out, drivers stranded, Good Samaritans helping some escape.
It was very scary, I have to admit, because you yourself, you're concerned for your own safety.
Across the country, 77 damaging storm reports, including 2 tornadoes. Crews working to clean up this destruction in Florida. More storm and flood watches are in effect for parts of the country, and the extreme heat continues to blast us here in the west, with temperatures in Los Angeles soaring into the hundreds as we head into Friday. Natalie Brunell, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Brutal.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah,
wish we could send some of our rain their way.
Yeah, no kidding. We're getting a lot of it too right now in Bradenton, Palmetto, stretching up to near Rabonia. So there's some rain west of I-75. Most of it's east, but we are seeing some. Lakewood Ranch has had their share of rainfall, and here's some more. You'll get look at the lens getting a little wet there. Rain going by at times, and now things are calming down just a little bit, but then you see the clouds darkening once again as showers and storms developing along that sea breeze front, which is not moving all that fast. It is east of I-75, but boy, a lot of storms down south too, near Fort Myers and Naples. And the East Coast breeze working its way over. You can see that making its way. As these two hit once again in about an hour from now, you're going to see an explosion of storms, most of it inland, but 1 or 2 will make their way toward the west coast. I think as the outflow boundaries will generate some storms near the coast. So we'll keep a pretty good chance of scattered storms, especially east of I-75. in for the next couple of hours, and things should start to calm down. We'll watch that area down south, too, approaching Punta Gorda here in about an hour or so. There's that rain I mentioned in Bradenton, stretching off and through near Ellenton and into Palmetto as well, up near Rabonia. That rain's heavy, too. I mean, we're talking rainfall rates in excess of 2 inches an hour. And there's been a few lightning strikes with these storms, not a lot like the excessive amount of lightning we saw the other day, but as those two breezes meet, especially inland, the lightning will intensify. There's the rainfall rate with just that cell, over 2.5 inches an hour, which does cause flooding, especially when they're not moving much. We saw that yesterday near Kensington Park, near University, near Palm Air as well, where they had 3 inches of rain in just less than an hour in most cases. Just had a lightning strike there at Palmetto, so be careful. This is trying to work its way toward the coast. It's still battling that west coast breeze, but you can see Palmasola getting very close to the rainfall, then kind of getting held off there. So we'll watch that heavy rainfall there, and then near Tatum, near Fruitville, lightning strikes there. Meadows, again, some rainfall nearby. The rain has been rather heavy again near 13th Avenue East into Manatee County near Bradenton. Samoset is starting to lessen up somewhat. And then down south, down near State Road 72, where they don't need the rainfall here because of the flooding concerns. And you can see that heavier rainfall as well near Northport and Warm Mineral Springs. Now, the flood warnings are in effect now for the Manatee River near the Myakka Head and also Horse Creek near Arcadia. Flooding is expected to continue there, it looks like, as more rain anticipated in interior portions of our viewing area. Well, that low pressure area is now shifting west, but we still have a lot of rain around as a result of a little trough of low pressure left behind. And that trough will ignite some inland storms again tomorrow, it looks like, on Friday. Most of the action will be inland, and then it will have a tendency to push off to the east with a westerly wind, but one or two will develop there in the Gulf of Mexico. Even on Saturday morning, we expect a few coastal showers in the morning, and then the main focus inland. So that's the pattern shift we're in again, and it looks like we'll stay that way. Now, tropics, we have the new tropical storm Beryl, and the winds are up to 50 miles an hour with this system now, and it looks as though it could get as high as 70, could become a hurricane, could become the first hurricane of the season, but strong winds over the islands here and off the coast of South America will more than likely dissipate this system before it reaches the islands. Now, that remains to be seen, though. There's a lot of uncertainty because if it gets a little bit better organized, those winds won't have as much of an impact, and they could certainly see a tropical storm in the islands by early next week. But right now, the forecast is saying it's going to dissipate or get beat up a little bit. There'll still be some heavy rainfall there. A few morning showers along the coast. The seas will be really light out there. Smooth conditions on the bays and inland waters. So we'll keep a pretty steady 40% chance for scattered storms, although the timing will change for coastal showers in the morning and then mainly inland storms in the afternoon and evening. That will continue, I think, through Saturday. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. Now to first alert traffic. Right now, the northbound lanes of I-75 are backed up between University Parkway all the way north to US 301 in Ellenton. Southbound lanes are looking clear. That northbound, could be not only traffic, but the rain that Bob just showed us as well, slowing down traffic. A new state law now in effect will make it harder for doctors to prescribe opioid painkillers. According to the Centers for Disease Control, nearly 80 opioid prescriptions were written per 100 Suncoast residents in 2016. ABC7's Adam Cellini joins us live from Doctors Hospital in Sarasota to describe how this may inconvenience patients in the short term. Adam?
Yeah, Scott and Jacqueline, good evening. This law will affect acute pain patients. So those are the patients going to emergency rooms, visiting physicians for short-term pain caused by some sort of trauma or even surgeries. It will not affect the chronic pain patients, the ones seeking prescriptions over a longer period of time. But people still think it will have a large impact on both patients and doctors here in our area. Joshua Barnett hopes a new Florida law can lower staggering opioid use in Manatee County.
There's more than one prescription per resident in Manatee County, which means although I don't have a prescription, someone has more than 1 or 2 prescriptions of opioids here. The new law is for patients suffering short-term or acute pain caused by trauma, surgery, or illness. On Sunday, new 3- and 7-day limits started for Schedule II opioid prescriptions like codeine, hydrocodone, or Percocet. Barnett says
3 days is enough to show signs of withdrawal.
When that medication's taken away from them, they feel that they are going to die. They feel that they feel nauseous, they feel sick, they feel terrible, and the pain comes back.
This could mean more doctor's visits and healthcare costs initially for patients.
It is going to be difficult for some patients, and some patients will feel that it is affecting them, not to benefit necessarily.
Dr. Fabian Ramos is an interventional pain specialist, recognized in the community for efforts to cut down on prescription drug abuse. Now all doctors will have to check each patient's controlled substance history in a state database before prescribing an opioid, perhaps leading to some alternative options, or, as Ramos hopes, a more clear definition of acute pain.
Through this initial wave of uncertainty, very soon the boards are going to come up with specific solutions for these particular patients.
Now, Dr. Ramos says even before this law was passed, and now it is, of course, in effect, he was noticing patients walk in and requesting less opioids due to just the awareness that has been out there about the dangers that go along with opioid prescriptions. Also, the state set up this database of controlled substance history back in 2009, but this will be the first state law requiring physicians to start using it. Reporting live in Sarasota, I'm Adam Cellini. Scott and Jacqueline, back to you.
Adam, thank you. In other health news tonight, a new treatment could help curb the opioid overdose crisis. Two physicians specializing in addiction medicine say expanding the availability of buprenorphine treatment would be a major step toward reducing overdose deaths. It is one of 3 FDA-approved medications to treat opioid use disorder. Almost 80% of Americans with that disorder are unable to get treatment. The growth in distribution of buprenorphine has been slowing rather than increasing, so doctors say if it's easier to get, then overdose deaths could decline. Experts also say food-related illnesses tend to spike during the summer months. In a recent study, only 34% of people used a food thermometer to check the food whether it was cooked properly. The study also showed that people were not washing their hands properly 97% of the time. People can also get sick when cross-contamination occurs between food preparation surfaces, so be sure to use separate utensils when it comes to uncooked meat and other foods. Coming up, why a massive fireworks explosion is now being investigated as arson, and a standoff between a protester and police at the Statue of Liberty. A look at the charges that woman is facing tonight.
At Tidewell Hospice, we know it's never too late to say thank you to our military veterans. The Tidewell Honors Veterans Program has provided care to more than 13,000 military families since 2008. Tidewell volunteers help honor veterans through special pinning ceremonies that demonstrate our appreciation for the freedom our veterans fought to defend. If you know a veteran who can benefit from end-of-life care, call or visit tidewell.org today. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, and you're struggling to pay your bills while your case is dragging on, that's where Oasis Financial comes in. Only Oasis has Oasis Express Cash that can get you from $500 to $25,000 in as little as 24 hours, faster than anyone else. There's no risk and no out-of-pocket cost.
It was so simple. I made one phone call. Oasis was able to give me the money within 24 hours.
To pay for my electric bill, my rent, and my groceries for my children.
And even if you end up losing your case, Oasis lets you keep the money, so there's absolutely no risk to you. You don't have to worry about repaying Oasis.
If I had lost my case, then I wouldn't be responsible for paying the money back. And that was a blessing.
Oasis, they killed it, man. They helped me out. They gave me my life back.
See how much money you can get before your case settles. Call Oasis Financial, because life moves faster than your case. 1-800-874-8185. 1-800-874-8185.
Hello, I'm John Merce. Rugs As Art is celebrating yet another anniversary, and I would personally like to thank each and every one of you for the many years of continuous support. All during the month of July, we're having a grand celebration. We have flooded our showroom with yellow tag specials, meaning more discounts and more savings than ever before, plus free padding. So don't miss this anniversary celebration at Rugs As Art, Sarasota's bigger and better area rug superstore.
Hurricane season is here, and so is the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. This essential resource arms you with vital information you need to protect your family and property when severe weather threatens the Suncoast, including how to create your readiness plan and survival kit, shelter locations, what to do with pets, and important phone numbers. Visit mysuncoast.com and download the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. Brought to you by Batteries Plus, the Florida Lottery, and Sarasota Glass and Mirror.
Selfless service is the guiding principle of every Army National Guard soldier. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. To be an Army National Guard soldier is to serve something greater than yourself. Learn more at nationalguard.com.
We'll check out this nerve-wracking video of an unattended fireworks display in Kentucky. The tent explosion, one of 3 early morning fires being investigated in Madisonville. The additional fires were reported at a front porch and a fireworks stand in the city. No injuries were reported, but the house involved ended up with some serious damage. The cause of the explosion still unknown. All 3 are now being investigated as arson. A protester who shut down the Statue of Liberty appearing in court today after a dramatic standoff on Independence Day. 44-year-old Therese Okoyumau climbed to the base of the statue without ropes and held police at bay for hours, forcing thousands of tourists to evacuate the island, at times holding up T-shirts, one reading "Rise and Resist," the other Trump Care Makes Us Sick. The standoff unfolding shortly after 7 protests were arrested at the statue during a protest of President Trump's immigration policies. The woman is now facing numerous charges, including trespassing, disorderly conduct, and interfering with government functions.
Heavy rain is soaking the Houston area, and residents are now having to deal with flash flooding. This video taken of an underpass on an interstate shows just how quickly the waters there can rise. The car completely submerged within just 30 minutes. Well, that was very close, a lightning strike that was all caught on camera. The lightning accompanied by a loud clap of thunder. That video was taken on Tuesday in Tarpon Springs, just to our north. Coming up, flooding issues in parts of Sarasota County, how transportation officials are planning to make the roads less of a headache for drivers. And a look at where red tide still remains here on the Suncoast. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The ABC7 Stock Report is sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
Every time you purchase a fishing license or register your boat, you're helping to preserve our nation's coastlines, lakes, rivers, and streams, protecting memories for generations to come. Learn how your participation in boating and fishing can help the environment at takemefishing.org/conservation.
My life motto is keep moving. And as hard as it was when my husband passed away, I knew I had to keep doing what I love. Oops, coming. But I needed help with my insurance, and that's what the NAIC provides. They have resources to help you and your family make the best decision, and they'll help you to keep moving forward, just like me.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Many websites selling medication may look professional and legitimate, but the vast majority of sites selling prescription drugs are doing so illegally. Criminals use websites to sell counterfeit medications that may contain life-threatening toxins. Dot Pharmacy is a website verification program that helps you identify safe and trustworthy online pharmacies. Purchasing medicine online can be safe and easy. Just look for pharmacy to the right of the dot in website addresses.
All hands on deck. What's up? I want to point out 3 tips for using the home computer more safely. Point away.
First, stop. Make sure your software is up to date and that you've password protected your computer's login and Wi-Fi connection.
Next, think before visiting a site, opening attachments, or clicking on links.
Then connect, knowing you're helping make the web safer for you
and for everyone. Make Stop, Think, Connect part of your daily online routine.
Whee!